Las Vegas. It's the entertainment capital of the world. But this oasis in the Nevada desert is also home to some of the world's best golf courses and some of the world's best players. Among them, 28-year-old Danielle Kang, who is living up to her reputation as one of the most gifted players in the sport.
Danielle, welcome to Living Golf. Now, for our audience who perhaps aren't familiar with your story, can you perhaps tell us a little bit about where you're from and your earliest memories of golf?
I was born in San Francisco, California, and I grew up at Westlake Village, California. And golf entered my life when I was around 12 or 13. Before then, my dad took me to the golf course here and there, but I never liked it. But I picked it up because my brother started playing and he was really good right off the bat. And all everyone talked about was how good he was, how far he hit the ball, and I got kind of jealous of the attention. I just followed him wherever he went.
Despite being a latecomer to the game, it wasn't long before Kang's natural talent, coupled with her close bond with brother Alex, saw her qualify for the US Open at just 14 years old.
I didn't know what the US Open was. I didn't even sign up for it. My brother signed me up for it. And when I made the US Open, everyone was so excited, and I didn't know why. And they said it was a major, and my response was, what's a major? Because at that time, I was really into doing martial arts and watching the World Cup. I was more of a soccer fan and martial arts fan, more so than football and basketball and golf.
In 2010, Kang claimed the first of her US women's amateur titles with her father K.S. Kang on the bag and announced herself as one of the most talented prospects in the game, beating a familiar face in Jessica Korda in the match play final.
That might have been one of my favorite tournaments ever in my entire life, still to this day, because my dad and I had so much fun. It wasn't about winning. It was just like my dad just trying to make me have fun and enjoy what comes with being in the position, whether it's more TV time, whether it's my mom getting to watch me on TV or anything like that. So next thing you know, we're playing against Jessica Korda in the finals, and everyone thought she was gonna win. Like, no one on the Golf Channel talked about me winning. No one, I mean, I was a nobody. And one of the most memorable thing for me is on the final hole, I had a 4-footer to win the entire thing. And I looked at my dad, I called him over, I said, can I please have a TV if I make this putt? And he said, yes, you could have a TV in your room. And I said, okay. He's like, just make the putt, you could have a TV. I said, okay. So I made it, and he bought me a TV.
So throwing forward to 2011, Danielle, you became the first woman in 15 years to win back-to-back US amateur titles before turning pro at the end of that season. But the results didn't come straight away. How challenging did you find the transition to playing professionally?
I thought I was gonna go out and just crush it. I thought I was gonna win. Like, it was no big deal. I was playing great, but it was just a different level of game. I've only played golf for 5 years at that point, 6 years. My game was too immature. And I can compete with fearlessness probably 1 out of 10 times, but the consistency is the key. The pros are the pros because they're good.
Adjusting to the professional game takes time. And sadly, following a battle with cancer, Danielle's father passed away in 2013 before she was able to get her first win as a professional.
I've gone through a lot in the 5 years. Felt like I aged like 20 years through that 5 years. And it wasn't because of golf, but, going through a lot of losses, and I wanted to win so desperately for a couple years. I've never been that desperate in my life trying to get a win. And I failed. I couldn't win while my dad was still around. And I don't look back as the biggest failure. It's just, I couldn't do it.
Losing your dad so early must make those memories you two shared on the golf course even more special looking back at it now.
They are the most cherished memories for me, honestly. There's moments in my life that I flash back on and think that was pretty special. And 2010 US Women's Amateur was one of my highlights. I think that changed the course of who I am, to be honest. Like, it's like a big life moment, and I can still look back. And I look at the life moment and all I think is I asked him for a TV that I don't even watch. It's just to have it.
In 2017, the hunt for that elusive first victory finally came to an end in spectacular fashion. Kang claiming her first LPGA title and her first major as she held a birdie putt after a fearless approach on the 18th to seal the Women's PGA Championship at Olympia Hills.
That's a moment that I'm going to treasure as well. I won, and the first thing I looked at, I said, where's my mom? Like, I need my mom. It's not about, for me, like, that's what it was. It wasn't about just winning. The joy that I got from winning that tournament, nobody can take away. The feeling that I have, I can reminisce and I can look back on what I did that week, and it's pretty awesome.
With that first victory out of the way, Kang quickly set about establishing herself as one of the world's best, with LPGA wins in 2018, 19, and back-to-back wins following the lockdown in 2020.
Now, as we look ahead to the rest of this year, Danielle, there are some pretty big events on the horizon. So what are your goals for 2021?
More so than anything, I want to compete in the Olympics. I know with the pandemic, everyone's worried that it's going to be canceled, but it's been my dream to compete in the Olympics since I was a kid. And I've watched the Olympics. I've watched every Olympics all my life, and Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics. To compete in it and having golf in it now, it wasn't the original way I wanted to compete in the Olympics with Taekwondo, but just to compete in it and have the opportunity to win, set myself up for a chance is my main goal this year.